Yes sir, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you guys that are new here, welcome. My name is Idiris Ibrahim. I am an incoming dental student at The Ohio State University. Hopefully in the next 3 weeks I could stop saying incoming because just say I'm a dental student, but until then I'm forced to say incoming dental student. In this video we will be doing a quick Q&A session, but before I start this video, I know what you might be thinking. Damn son, you looking dummy fly. What you wearing? I'm wearing Hidiyah since it is Somalia's Independence Month of July. I felt like I had to represent, you know what it is. And before I kind of start this video, I also got to give a shout out to Dalal's Design. They sent over some cups for Independence Day. Let me see exactly how it looks. I was like, I can't make this video without a cup and also without the shirt. Look at that. You know what it is, this is Somalia. And they also sent over another cup, like 2 cups. So I might be doing a giveaway, but since I love these cups a lot, I probably won't be doing a giveaway. But you guys can just comment down below if I should do a giveaway for the cups. But look at this, it's like, it's dope, bro. But check them out, they have a lot of cool stuff, honestly. But without further ado, let's jump into the questions. The first one is how to improve your GPA. I feel like I can answer this the best because like I said in my other videos, starting out the first 2 years, my GPA was really low. It was around like a 2.7 or something along those lines. And the last 2 years, I did pick it up to a 3.6. So the thing that helped me the most was honestly to kind of like surround yourself with the right people. So when you go to a classroom, make sure you make friends and make sure you make like study groups so they kind of motivate you, and also they hold you accountable when you're not studying or you're not doing well in the exams. Another thing is also go to office hours, take advantage of that, build your confidence, and do like a lot of practice problems instead of just like studying like the last weekend before the exam. Kind of like break it down and space it out a lot. That's what I did to help my GPA. And a lot of college and university, they have tutoring centers that are free. So just go to a tutoring center, get some free help from there, go to office hours, and just kind of build a network and an environment that encourages you to do better and to try your best. That's the best advice I can give for improving your GPA. Why dentistry? Honestly, like I couldn't get into medical school, so I picked dentistry. But I'm just joking. On a serious note, I feel like dentistry connected with me the most. The first thing coming into undergrad is I knew I wanted to go into the health profession field. The reason is because like my mom was a nurse back in Somalia, and she always encouraged us to give back to your community, to go into the health profession field and kind of like make a meaningful impact, and that really hit home. So I looked at medicine and I noticed that medicine, the route for medicine is extremely long, costs a lot of money, and also takes a lot of energy out of you. And I looked at the dental field, which is also a little bit long, takes the same amount of energy as you, and also is extremely expensive. But one thing I liked about dentistry was I get to work with my hands. So for me being left-handed, they say left-handers are more artistic and creative. And I feel like with dentistry, I'm able to artistically express myself. And the other thing I liked about dentistry is it's not corporate driven. There's so many dentists that have their own practices. It's all individual based. That really also attracted me. That I can become a dentist, and also I can become a business person at the same time, and also become a leader in my practice and hopefully in my community as well. And I feel like dentistry is my calling. If I had to do it again, I'll still do dentistry. But after looking at my statement of accounts and the cost of tuition, I'm not so sure, but hopefully inshallah it works out. So that's about it. The hardest part about college, honestly, a lot of people will say like the classes are the hardest part. For me, was kind of like knowing yourself, knowing like what you're passionate about. You might be coming to college thinking, hey, I want to go to medical school, but like 3rd year in or 2nd year in, you might change your mind and you might find a different passion. So that's really the hardest thing, is like kind of knowing yourself and having a game plan on what you want to do. I see a lot of people coming in, they do business or communication, and they don't really like map out exactly what they want to do, with that degree. So that's just the hardest part. Give yourself some time to figure out what you want to do, and also explore a lot of things. What classes can people take to widen their perspective fields? Honestly, this question, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by it. And the way I'm thinking is, you're probably asking me what classes can you take to kind of like know exactly what field you want to get into. Honestly, you have to think about it. Like, you need 120 credit hours to get a degree, and you have 8 semesters. So that means you have to take like 15 credits per semester, no summer course or anything like that. So you have a lot of time to actually like explore your first 2 years. A lot of advisors don't really tell you that. What I would recommend is kind of like take a class you're interested in. For me, one thing I regret is not taking a class in like marketing or business. I just took science courses. If I had to redo it again, I'll probably like pick a different major and also like pick things that I actually like and also that interest me. So what advice I'll give you is like, if you're starting college, don't really go off the schedule that your advisor gives you. Give yourself some leeway. Take a couple classes that you find interesting. You might love it and you might pick that major later down the road. That's the best advice I will give. Doesn't matter what university you go to. I'm not really sure if this is undergrad related or dental school related or medical school related, but it depends. If it's for undergrad, it definitely matters what school you go to. If you go to an Ivy League school and you study business, you're more than likely to get a great paying job at a great firm or company. But if you're talking about from the medical dental perspective, it honestly doesn't matter what school you go to. At the end of the day, a doctor degree is a doctor degree. No patient's gonna ask you, hey, what school did you graduate from? You graduated from this school, I'm not gonna go to you, you know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter on that perspective. Is research necessary for medical dental schools? Let me start with dental schools, then I can kind of talk to medical schools. So the first one, honestly, for dental, it really isn't necessary. I know a lot of people that didn't do research. It makes you stand out. For me, I did do research, not university based, but I did it for like a private company where we studied like teeth whitening products and stuff like that. This really helped my application. It made it stand out. But it's not necessary at all. If you don't like research, if you don't want to do it, it's not going to hinder your application. It's like a golden star on your application. For medical, honestly, it's not necessary, but I strongly recommend it. The reason why is like medical school is so competitive. Not saying like dental school is not competitive. Dental school is competitive, but medical school, there's so many more applicants and so many more variety. So you want to stand out. You want to make your application look really nice. So I strongly recommend doing research for medical school. For dental school, it really doesn't matter. So how do you build a good connection with your teacher in order to get a good letter of recommendation? This is one question I have been getting a lot. The first one, it depends on what kind of school you go to. If you go to The Ohio State University, where your class size is 500, 600 students, it's really different than going to a smaller school that only has 30, 40 students where the teacher knows you by name. The best thing to do is make sure you go to office hours and the teacher at least know your face and sit in the first couple of rows. So later down the semester, when you want to ask for a letter of recommendation, they may not know you personally, but they know your face if you sit in the front row, answer a couple questions, and also go to their office hours. So when the professor agrees to write your letter of recommendation, they usually ask for a resume. In the resume, I make it really detailed. First thing I talk about is my work ethic. Second thing I talk about is why dentistry, why I will be a great fit in that school, what made me unique in the class. So I basically write my own letter of recommendation when I'm sending over my resume. So when the teacher's looking at it, he can kind of use some information I provided in there as his own. Some teachers might not prefer it, some teachers might prefer it. For me, I always include that sheet. So it made it easier for them when they're writing the recommendation. And also I put stuff in there that I wanted them to also put in the letter of recommendation. So that's the best way, honestly. Go to office hours, become familiar with the teacher, sit down with them, make a really nice resume where you talk about yourself and also brag about yourself a little bit. And that's about it. Best time to ask for a letter of recommendation is right after finals. There's this website portal, it's called Interfolio. I'm gonna link it down below. Basically what Interfolio is, it's a website that holds all your letter of recommendations and keep it private. So instead of like asking for a letter of recommendations right before applications open, you could ask for a letter of recommendation right at the end of the semester, upload it onto the website, and wait until you apply to dental school to retrieve it from the website. All medical schools, all dental schools, all PA schools, any graduate school you're applying to accept Interfolio. The reason why it's confidential, and you can also hold it in there for the next 10 years. How did you write your personal statement, and what are some things I should include in mine? So recently I have been reviewing a couple personal statements, and one thing I keep noticing is a lot of people talk about their achievements in their personal statement. I feel like you shouldn't really be talking about your achievement. You should be talking about something that makes you unique. Like, what's the reason why you're doing dental? What's the reason why you're doing medical? A unique experience or an upbringing that you want them to know about you. You want them to know about your character, your passion, not about your achievements. The reason is, like, in the rest of the application, they ask you a lot of stuff about like, what achievements do you have? What extracurricular activity did you do? So you have to think, like, for the dental school application or even medical school, you have a limited amount of space to put stuff in. So why are you gonna list your achievements when there's already a space for achievements? So you're kind of like wasting space, in my opinion. So you have to talk about something that really makes you unique, what makes you stand out, what experiences led you to dentistry, what's your upbringing like, something that's like unique to yourself that they're not gonna ask you on the application, but you want them to know about you. So the other question is, are you booed up? Honestly, for this question, I feel like I gotta sip a cup of tea, you know. No, your boy's not booed up, but he is about to be booed up in the next 3 weeks. And the name of that bay is the Ohio State University College of Dentistry. Honestly, I'm just working on developing myself right now, trying to mentally and physically transition into dental school. So I'm really not looking for anything but, you know, 4 years down the road, 2 years down the road, 1 year down the road, 6 months down the road. I really don't know, but at this moment, I'm just kind of like focusing on developing my craft, myself, and also that's about it. What do you think made your application stand out? Honestly, it wasn't GPA, I know that for sure. My GPA was really on the lower side. My DAT was overall average. I feel like what made me stand out was my personality in interviews, my personality on paper, and also my experiences. I did work at the oral surgery department for 3 years. I made a lot of connections, got a lot of shadowing hours from there. I did a lot of community service. So my application holistically made me stand out. You have to think like the applications is divided up into 4 sections. The first one is GPA, second one is DAT, third one is personal statement, and the other one is extracurricular activities and work experience and stuff along those lines. So they all have 25, 25, 25%. So if you know your DAT is on the lower end or your GPA is on the lower end, you got to make sure your personal statement stands out, your application stand out, your extracurricular activities, your shadowing hours, all that stuff stand out. So I knew personally that my GPA was on the lower end and my DAT was average. So I made sure everything else I excelled in. My interview skills I excelled in, my personal statement I excelled in, my extracurricular activities I excelled in. So I kind of like worked around my weaknesses and make sure the rest of my application was really strong. So that's one thing that really made my application stand out. I am applying this cycle. What's one advice you could give me? The first and most important advice I will give to anyone, no matter what your DAT, GPA, all that stuff is, apply early. Make sure you get your application in as early as possible, because you have to think about it. There's limited spots and limited amount of interviews they could give out. So if you're one of the first applications they look at, they really don't know exactly what the class will be this year. They really don't know what the range will be. So if you're one of the first applications and your GPA is a 3.2 or 3.3 or 3.5 and your DAT is average, they're going to just use you as a benchmark to compare to other applications. But let's say, for example, you're turning your application mid-July and there's so many other people that submitted their application and everyone's keep getting 20s and 21s and getting like 3.7 GPAs. They use those applications as benchmarks to kind of compare the rest of the application. So you got to make sure you turn your application as early and as possible, so they really don't have a benchmark to work from except your application. Are you giving me free dental care or not? Bro, that's a funny one right there, bro. Sorry, now you know I got the whole hood on lock, period. But on a real note, I will try my best to give out as much free dental work as possible for my community. You know what it is. The reason why I wanted to become a dentist was to help out my peoples. You dig? Hopefully you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because at the end of the day, it really does help the kid.